You can establish cooperation with really top research laboratories that have unique facility. That's also many people do. But in our case, our laboratory or the laboratory in Taiwan, they are not equipped with some extraordinary special equipment, but rather it's based on the special knowledge. So laboratories today are, in many cases, they are equipped with a similar equipment, which is not cheap, but it's affordable. So the equipment which they have in Taiwan or which we have here, more or less is comparable. But the equipment is not enough. We need the knowledge, and often this equipment, it needs years of knowledge to be used really efficiently. So what we are actually buying, I would say, in this cooperation is not the equipment they have, but their knowledge how to work with this equipment and how to interpret the data. And I guess that if we would decide to do it here, it would take us years before we reach that level. So it's it's easier for us to cooperate with them rather than to do it ourselves. And it's also a question of time. We don't have time to do everything. Distance is a problem, especially it's a technical problem, especially by exchanging samples. It's expensive, you must send the samples, but it's not only expensive, but it's also some samples they don't like traveling. Some samples can be damaged simply by the time that they are exposed to air. Otherwise, from the scientific point of view, it's more or less the same as with cooperation we have, for example, from Western countries, because research in material science is essentially the same all over the world. Actually, it is the same in the developed world or similar. The culture is not so important because the technical questions are the same and the answers are also the same. It's more, these cultural differences are more visible in personal relationships rather than the subject of our work. So when I compare Western researchers and East Asia researchers, when we are dealing with the subject of our research, it's more or less the same. But there is a difference of how they deal with you personally. People in Taiwan, they take care much more about you. So they organize in detail all your free time because they expect that you are expecting that they will take care about you. So it means even at the weekends they take you to visit some shrines or some nature beauties, or they takes you home for dinner. I think they are much more collectively thinking than we are here in individual. There were practically no difficulties in the scientific part, but it's quite time-consuming to deal with administrative work by applying for the research or running the research. It's really the scientist here in Czech Republic must not be only the expert in his field, but he must be also manager and accountant, especially accountant. There is a huge paperwork related to this project, and it's time-consuming. I have advantage that I have studied business management and financial mathematics, but even then, it typically takes me all December or January to deal with project reports, with accounting issues, administration, and so on. So it's not the cooperation with Taiwanese, but the bureaucracy, the Czech part, is for me a difficult task. Yes, in the basic research we don't deal with the intellectual property rights because our results are published, and when they are published, everybody can use them. Of course, when you visit someone's laboratory, for example, if we will have the student here, we know that he will learn a lot of things here, and he will use it when he will return back to Taiwan. But that's everybody is agree with, and that's quite. It's actually expected to be also the results of the project. This exchange of ideas. It's kind of cooperation actually. Nobody bothers that he will learn here how to grow our layers, and he will do it in Taiwan.